This is what we've been culminating all season. Anna's research, Carol's map, my tech, and Katie's magic. So we're reaching out to you guys with everything that we got.
Yeah, because that sounds like it.
We got a fire.
Let's do this.
Easy going.
And I'm burning.
Easy.
Season 6, Midnight Society.
Last year when we went to Hinsdale, that kind of sealed our bond as a team. More than anything I think's ever happened to us. We're gonna carry that forward and we're gonna work with it.
We survived the Hinsdale house. We have a lot to process with that over the course of the past year. This season, trying to make things greater than we have ever done before, empower ourselves more than we've ever done before.
What's another challenge?
I think we challenged ourselves at Penhurst Asylum.
Yeah.
Woo. Penhurst Asylum in Pennsylvania. It made sense for us to try to figure out a big, grand place to really work towards this season that would push us out of our comfort zone, and Penhurst has those qualities to it. I know that we could handle it because we believe in each other and we have a lot of experience at this point.
We've been investigating together for a long time.
We have.
We've really built up a trust.
But I don't think that we could get the most out of it yet.
It's for a lot of reasons,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's huge. We need to split up.
Yep.
It's
And
huge.
we're not going to be doing two on one,
Nope.
you know,
Not at
and
the
that's a
Sanford.
safety issue. Someone that I think would be the most valuable to us in a lot of aspects is Anna Halloran.
Absolutely.
Anna Halloran is our amazing camera woman. She has been with us for years. You often hear her chiming in from the background. She is basically a seasoned investigator. She's just always been behind the camera, so now it's time to put her in front of the camera.
My name is Anna Halloran, and I'm joining the Haunt Me team as Antiquarian. My job is to research. What I'm doing is going behind the scenes, looking up all the information I can about locations and the people who lived there, so we can really start to connect what we learn on investigations to the people who existed within those places. Ghost hunting has always been a dream of mine, and to be able to ghost hunt with you guys and to paranormal investigate with you guys has also been a dream, so thanks for giving me the opportunity. Based on what I've seen from Haunt Me over the years, I think my place is really going to be connecting the dots between both the historical side and what we're experiencing on site.
So the plan this season is going to be different than we've ever done before. We brought Anna on so we have our numbers that we need. Instead of just going in and learning about a location and slowly getting better, I think it's time to jumpstart that.
I think we should bring in paranormal experts in the field.
Absolutely.
We bring people in, get a little bit more under our belt like we always do. Penhurst should be our, should we do it alone?
It's the final exam.
our
Season 6 is Haunt Me College and Penhurst is the final exam. Right. Because this is going to be a season about growth. In each episode, each investigator will have an expert in the field that's going to help us expand our own ideas and push our own investigations even further. Our first investigation of this season will be at the Oliver House in Middleboro, Massachusetts.
Now, since I'm from Massachusetts originally, I'm really excited about this. So I think the first step is to go to the library and research all that I can about the people who lived there and the house itself.
My name is Grant Wilson. I've been investigating the paranormal for about 30 years. When Anna first reached out to me for help on this investigation, I was excited. I've known her for a while. She's a wonderful person, and anything I can do to help, I was willing to do.
Never in my life did I think I would be able to investigate side by side with Grant Wilson. I grew up watching him on Ghost Hunters. He's been helping me research and really go through all of the details of this location so we can explore it to its fullest. All right, so we've done a lot of research on this place already. It's, I don't want to say historically significant, but it's definitely old, and there's been a lot of families that have lived in it. During the Revolutionary War, the family that lived there were actually chased out because they were loyalists. So there was a lot of dissension between them and the people surrounding them. Interestingly enough, the land itself, before the Pilgrims came and settled on it, it actually, the Wampanoag Indians lived there. So you sort of have this weird dynamic of like people chasing each other out of this area, which is, yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So that's cool. I mean, you're doing the right thing. What's important about your job is not everybody who goes to investigate needs to know the history of a location like you do. Well, only one person should. And that's good as a guide You know, as the team is investigating, you'll pick up these subtle things. And you have that insight where you're starting to notice, okay, people are getting chased out. So you're going to look for that in the investigation. And that's the right mentality to have, not just to get the facts, but to put the pieces together. One of the things I noticed right away was Anna's natural ability to do this job well. So if you don't have at least one member on the team that does the historical research, you're not going to be able to connect the dots. You have an entity that comes to you needing help, and it's difficult to see them, hear them, or talk to them. You need as much fertile soil as possible, and that's what the historical research is all about. Like I said, it's very important for you to have the full picture, but not the rest of the team, because let's say you find in history that there was a little girl that burned to death. It's terrible, I know, but burned to death in the attic, right?
Okay.
If the whole team knows that, they're all going to focus on the attic when the real entities may be down in the basement, because a house that's old like this has been around so long and through so many people and families that for them, they might have had completely separate paranormal experiences than the current people occupying the house or who own it now. So you don't want to get detracted by the problems of past generations. You want to focus on the people who are in it now and the problems they have, because that's the activity you're going to experience now is what they're experiencing. Otherwise, it's a wild goose chase. You're just hunting ghosts. I think the most important thing about researching the history of a location is to get as much information as possible and take it all with a grain of salt. And remember that you're there to help the people who are in the house right now.
We also have kind of been exploring this world of cryptids.
Sure.
Because it comes up. You just can't avoid it. Interestingly enough, with this location, the people that investigate there frequently feel like there is a pukwudgie.
Pukwudgie, okay.
Yes. Which is really interesting and definitely something that we haven't sort of come across before. So tell me about this side of this whole paranormal world.
So, I mean, a lot of people confuse cryptids and what I call elemental activity.
Okay.
And elemental could be defined as like fairies. They're indifferent, you know, where angelic stuff would be super good and demonic would be very bad.
Okay,
they're
so
kind of indifferent.
True neutral.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if your business crosses their business, then you'll encounter them. Otherwise, they don't care. So I think pukwudgie probably fits in that realm because of the way they're described. Essentially, it's a 3-foot-tall thing with big ears and sometimes looks like a porcupine.
Okay.
Sometimes just, I don't know. People can't ever make up their mind, and that's typical of elemental stuff because people try to take something like a pukwudgie and put it in a box. So like, I saw this thing that kind of looked like this. All right, well, that's close enough to a pukwudgie, when I don't think they work that way.
Okay, so they kind of like take like what they know of this world and sort of imprint it on that to help kind of like make sense of what it is in a way.
Yeah,
kinda.
to try to put in a box, because we
Right.
like to put things in a box, and I don't think the elemental stuff works that way. I wouldn't go looking for a pukwudgie.
Okay.
I'd go looking for the stuff that's bothering people in the homes, and if something fits of a more elemental feel, then you deal with it in an elemental way. And if something fits an intelligent haunting, you deal with it that way. But don't go looking for specifically a pukwudgie, because number one, how do you classify it?
How do you find it?
Yeah, and just look for the types of activity that are going on there.
Okay.
And, you know, I'll be there.
Yeah.
So if we come across something that's more elemental, I'll know exactly what we're dealing with. So
That's awesome.
I'm excited for you, because if you did your job right,
I hope
you're
so.
going to be excited to go into this house, and you're going to be like, it's like you've already been there. Like you've read the book, and now you're actually seeing the place, and it's going to be exciting. And then hopefully we'll have some living history come out.
Yeah.
Connect the dots. It's going to be good.
That sounds great to me. Let's
got this.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
Totally.
We got this.
I think each investigator has a different goal tonight. I think it'll be interesting to see if we can even come to one conclusion. I think ultimately we want to be able to learn something new from these people. I think we want to be able to make a connection with these people so we can expand upon what we know and add to the history of this place.
Hi, welcome to the Oliver House. How are y'all today?
Pretty good, how are you?
Oh, well, you know, fair to middling.
Well, my name is Christy J. Parrish, and I've been a paranormal investigator all around the world for 17 years. I was lucky enough to be invited to the Oliver House 2 years ago, and I've never left. I fell in love with the property and stayed, and I'm a lifer, I think.
So, do you know any of the history of the house? Would you like me to share some of that with you?
Absolutely. Our researcher is over here.
I'd love to hear what you have to say, for sure.
Absolutely. All right, so in 1744, Judge Peter Oliver, who was a Supreme Justice in Boston, he moved to Middleboro, Massachusetts. And with the crown money, because he was a loyalist, he built a mill across the street called Oliver Mill. And then we're going to get into the meat of the story when it comes to the Olivers, because you have to understand that to understand a lot of the things that are happening here at the house.
Okay. This is a haunted house, and we've been doing some weird stuff on Haunt Me last season. But what's here, the fact that there are people spirits in this house in particular, you have to go back to that level of respect. And that's what Christy hammered on during our walkthrough, is that these are people and that this is their space and we are the guests here tonight.
After Peter had graduated from medical school and came back, he told his dad he wanted to marry Sally Hutchinson. So, in 1765, they were engaged. He put a ring on it, made his declaration of love. And Judge Oliver said, "Son, I'm proud of you, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a home, your first home." Now, behind the scenes of all of this, the Sons of Liberty were on the rise. There was a new world coming, and the Loyalists had no place in it for the Sons of Liberty. This family was Loyalist. 3 of these men had 20 letters that went back and forth that talked about their plan and their conspiracy to be able to keep Loyalist rule here in this country.
Yikes.
But we call this the Benjamin Franklin room for a reason. Not only do we have a picture of Ben Franklin up there, he was very instrumental in taking this family down.
So Christy was actually able to bring to light the livelihoods of these people and their social interactions and their desires, what they were going for, that really you don't find in a book. So she was really able to bring these people, these characters to life for me so we can understand their day-to-day and how to connect with them more.
All right, those letters went to Boston. Ben had them, took them straight to Boston. They were read aloud at Faneuil Hall.
Whoa.
After they were read aloud, this got a lot of people angry, especially at Andrew, because he was one of the authors that signed the letters. So they chased Andrew Oliver out of Plymouth, and well, he retreated and he came to a place where he thought he'd be safe, and that's Middleboro, to his brother's house, Oliver Hall. They followed him. And when they got here to Middleboro, they burnt Oliver Hall to the ground. They never tried to break in. They set this place on fire, everything inside of it gone. They're not going to stand their ground against these people. So they fled out of the house and met their family in Boston. From Boston, they went to Nova Scotia. From Nova Scotia, they went to England.
Fair enough.
Wow.
And that's where they stayed.
Focusing on a more traditional haunted house, I didn't think of it until we were in here getting the tour, but I was, listening to everything that she had to say, and I was sort of like, what am I gonna do here? This is not super weird like the last few investigations that we've had. This is really like concrete, like trying to find the evidence in history that lines up with the people in this house. So it's like, where do I even come in all of this?
Welcome to the old kitchen. Now this is original 1769 kitchen. This is actually a scene of tragedy that happened to Bethania. In 1841, she had a little daughter by the name of Abigail. Abigail was 2. You know how 2-year-olds are kind of unsteady on their feet, but they're into everything? Yes. Well, there was a hot kettle of water that had been taken off the fire. It had been placed on the table, and we believe it probably happened around here in this area, close to where this brick is. She reached up, and whether she grabbed it or it just tipped over on top of her, it did. And it scalded her over 75% of her body.
That's hard for me to handle right now.
Yeah.
To hear that. I'm getting cold chills.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
physically sick.
She didn't pass away immediately. It was 3 days later.
As a mom, when you hear a story about losing a child, it just overcame me. I got a little bit of goosebumps on my arms, and I don't know, I almost like brought myself to the moment they were in that room. Again, another bodily reaction. I just overcome with sadness.
1841, Bethania was pregnant. She lost baby number 2.
Oh.
A little baby girl, same year as Abigail.
I do get easily overcome by this stuff. I'm aware of it though. That's why sometimes it's easy for me to pick up on, but that feeling that I got with the child in the hot water is definitely similar to the feeling I got of Timothy needing help. It can benefit me if I know that that's what's going on and I am fully aware. I can then, you know, say to whoever I'm with, hey, you know, I'm feeling this, let's address it, because I'm with the right people to do it.
When we were speaking, you said that there are things in the woods as well, right?
Yeah. At night, what happens is it starts as a ball of light, and it's usually a red ball of light. And you're thinking, who's on this property? They're out there with like a laser light or something. And it'll catch your attention and you'll hear mumbling. We're not quite sure what it is. We have a belief of what we think it might be. And I think that magic word, you know, is pukwudgie.
Yeah.
And so the rule of thumb when you deal with those little pukwudgie people is you always travel in pairs and you don't break up from each other. Don't let it lure you in. Will it hurt you? Don't know. We're not going to test that theory.
What's fascinating about the Oliver House is Christy here that gave us the tour seems to be doing a lot of things right. I don't really think she needs our help so much as she just wants someone to maybe a shoulder to lean on, someone to say, yes, this is actually happening too.
When groups come through the Oliver House, it's going to take some time. You're a new voice. I always suggest to people, introduce yourself, ease into it, take it slow, listen to the house, allow the energies to come around you and observe you. Respect, it's not given, it's earned. So go in with an open mind, a healthy heart, love in your heart, kindness in your word selection and your questions. And it's a great possibility that you're gonna have some piece of history that's gonna step forward and tell you something special.
So the pre-rate is really important because we believe that you can't get all the evidence that exists in a haunted location all in one night. We really want to give credit to evidence incurred previously and in our investigation. So we've talked to Christy and her team tonight, and we're really excited to hear about all of the evidence they've gathered. They've seen shadow people, full-bodied apparitions, they've heard footsteps, they even have some really great EVPs. So because of this, we're excited to pre-rate the Oliver House at a 5, but we're really hoping to see that number bump up by the end of the night. So we're like here, and this is happening. So
and we're doing it. I know, me too.
Do we want to start by addressing, as a group, the entities of the house? Do we want to do 5 minutes together and then maybe split up?
Yeah, and then see what we get a feel for. And
which room? I was kind of thinking, for some reason, the ladies' parlor I was thinking might be a good place to start. And then that might be a good opportunity for you to do a tarot read and get a feel for what's going on, and that'll give us a great jumping off point.
Okay. All right, yeah, let's do that. Let's go in there.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous. I think there's a little bit of pressure where we have such experienced investigators on this team, but I've been learning a lot from them just being behind the camera from our conversations, and I think I'll be able to keep up.
So hello to everybody in this house. We haven't gotten a chance to introduce ourselves yet, but you may have heard throughout the day. I'm Katie.
I'm Carol. I'm Anna.
Grant.
I'm Ty.
So let's pull 3 cards from this. The first one will tell us a little bit about the overall general vibe. Queen of Swords in this deck is really boxed in.
It started by talking about the Queen of Swords and being boxed in. And if you think about that kind of literally being like an older woman, kind of feeling boxed in by her guilt, having all eyes on her, we kind of realized that maybe these cards are really singling out Bethelina, and maybe we should focus on her for the night.
This is not your typical investigation where there's a client that needs help.
Right.
I think before we really dive in, we have to be united as to a goal for tonight.
Okay.
What are we trying to do here? For me, it might be to get some kind of corroborating experience.
Right. Okay.
So if we have something that corroborates their experience, whether it's caught on camera or not, I think that's what they're looking for, because they're sharing this place with us and not asking for help.
Right. What room needs a trust altar?
I would either do it in the kitchen or near the stairs.
Right, where there's been trauma. Yeah. Maybe we should start in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Carol and I stayed behind inside the house at the beginning of the night because we realized that she and I might be the ones to identify with Bethelina the most.
you want to hold either of our hands, we're here for you. We're here for all of the women in this house. Even if you were considered to be a servant, we're here for all of the women.
And in this moment with us and the rest of the night, you have a voice. We will listen to it.
Well, let's see who we can chat with.
Yeah, that sounds like...
What I would suggest is go where you're comfortable, just walk around, and if something feels particularly charged or anxious, that's where you want to stop. And stop.
And stop.
And watch and wait.
When you say you'll kind of like know, like what are we looking for? What are we expecting to react to, I guess?
So typically my experience when I've seen stuff, other people don't. They see the effect of it.
Okay.
So they'll see the footprints in the ground, in the leaves, but they won't see what's making them.
And the feeling, because I have very, very little elemental experience, but...
hang on. Yeah. So typically...
I just saw a red light.
Really?
Tell me that was a car.
It could be. Or fire. Work.
Or fire.
So where we were hearing that trickling, that kind of tip-tapping sound,
yep,
we also weren't hearing it while we were talking.
Right, it did stop.
You see what I mean?
Right.
And that's important in all types of investigation is, you know, the K2's going crazy, and then when you're not asking questions, it doesn't move at all. That's just as important. It just
went up to orange.
Did it really?
Yeah, we're outside. I can give you space if that was you and you want to come back in.
Nothing will break your spirit. They won't overcome you. You have the strength, the determination. Yeah, she's here, huh? You have the strength and the determination to go forward no matter what is said, no matter what people think.
Don't question yourself.
Don't question yourself.
Yeah, I'm very clear on this. I
We have
know that vision.
someone in this doorway. We have somebody here.
That vision that I got that I was talking to you about earlier, that I felt confused if it was how I was going to feel, or it was definitely her.
It's her.
It was definitely her.
And I wonder if you were picking up on something that's already happened.
I think I did. I can almost, I'm going to do it. Whatever. I literally pictured in there while we're all talking, I pictured myself just coming in here and just going, like diving with my hands and then just like being on my back and just like going nuts with grief, like consumed. And I'm very clear on what I saw, that it was not my own emotion, and just know I see, and both of us are aware of how much hurt you have felt. We are not dulling that down by any means.
Carol had a vision of throwing herself on the floor and wailing and crying, and at first she was thinking that it was like sort of something she was going to do, like a premonition. But then she realized that Bethelina was showing Carol her grief. It's a way that spirits kind of communicate, is that they can show you something about themselves.
Maybe you could learn about Carol and I. Is there any information that you want to know about us? Did this thing just light up?
Yes.
Oh, it's the ghost touch.
Okay.
Oh, that's what.
So it was lighting up.
I didn't. I'm sorry if that startled you. It startled me. I didn't even realize that was on.
Hold on a minute.
I actually do feel like we made contact with Bethelina tonight, and it's sort of unorthodox, but that's exactly what the tarot cards had said. Like, think outside the box. Things aren't going to be as they seem tonight.
Do you think it's time to let them inside?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it is time to let them inside.
Woo! Watch your step.
This is the weird spot, right?
That's right. So like I'm not crazy about like that one spot.
Right here, yeah.
Right.
Now try to describe what you feel.
It's like
Nothing?
untouched.
Yeah.
Well, that sums up my experience with them. They're not particularly good. They're not particularly bad. They're right down the middle, like I said.
Yeah.
I do this stuff like I'm brave, but like if a face showed up on here or something, I'd just...
Oh.
I'd pick up the camera, don't.
Good to know. Between those trees?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't tell if it's my eyes.
Put that phone down. See if it doesn't block your eyes.
Do we address them or leave
No,
them?
it doesn't matter.
Okay. They don't
You
care.
can.
Well,
Use more of your, less your mouth, more your.
valid.
I sensed something off in the woods, and Anna seemed to recognize it at the same time, but she didn't know where to focus. So I just kind of pointed her in the right direction and let her figure it out for herself. And she was looking at me for some kind of information, some kind of verification, and I wouldn't give it to her because I didn't want to taint her experience. To me, that's very important. You know, if you spoon feed people too much, they'll never learn, and they'll learn your way instead of their way.
Hello?
Katie!
Hi.
Okay.
So we've been looking for you guys for so long.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
After stumbling around in the creepy woods with Katie for a bit, and when we met up with the group, we recapped our experience in the dining room and told them we had possibly made a connection with Bethelina, but we didn't get a chance to move beyond the first floor. We decided to swap, and Katie and I stayed outside while Ty, Grant, and Anna made their way back to the house.
Hi, someone here with us. My name's Grant. We're all, I guess, patriots, but
We just celebrated our Independence Day on July 4th.
which probably bothers you. We don't hold any hard feelings. I know people ran you out of this house, or may have, and if you can find the courage to show yourself or interact with us, it would mean the world to us and to Christy. Did that IR just get blocked out?
No, I heard a thump in that room.
I'll go take a picture that way, Fanny.
Okay.
Isn't that the child's?
No, child's down the hallway to the left.
This is the closet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll take a picture. Don't mind me. Don't let me scare you.
Christy said there was a young woman.
Oh gosh, guys, we're in the wrong room. You gotta
We are?
come over
Okay.
here. Yeah.
We're moving.
Just
I can't.
shh. Approach with respect. Tell me that doesn't feel different.
Oh.
You gotta learn to trust your.
Oh, hello. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Just letting me know that I'm in the right area.
That was
Yeah?
firecracker.
Those sounds are nothing to worry about. They have nothing to do with us.
Hopefully they don't frighten you. They certainly frighten me.
Can you stop that?
Great job. Thank you very much for backing away.
Can you try again?
Come up, hold my hand, whatever you were doing a moment ago.
So this is not a necessarily comfortable spot, but this one's brave.
Thank you so much for approaching.
Now don't keep it there, bring it up until it stops. Okay, and bring it down.
Instead of just asking yes or no questions like I'm used to, Grant focused on using that K2 meter to figure out the body size of what we were talking to.
I came up to take a picture of this room because there was so much that would move in here. But you know, there's a different feeling here. And that's something we do all the time. If we're sitting in an area, not much is happening, you get up and move quietly.
But quickly?
Quietly and unthreateningly and quickly with your equipment. If you do that enough, Anna, you'll start to become very familiar with your body's way of telling you that there's an entity in the room.
The Pukwudgie like fire. So I thought we'd invite them all in with some candles.
So I thought, since I'm a candle maker, that I could use the candles that I had made for an investigation to open up communication and to be an offering to these spirits, to show them that we aren't here to destroy more of their land. We're here to embrace their land and to hear them.
Even if something was trying to reach out to us, we wouldn't be able to hear it.
The fireworks are really stressful.
The fireworks are so stressful.
Do you notice these loud sounds every year?
This is the Revolutionary War. Like, skies lighting up outside must be pretty frightening.
But look at us, we're not afraid of it. We know what it is. It's a celebration, it's not conflict.
Are these noises making you nervous?
Are you kidding me with this?
Oh my God.
It's actually kind of scary.
It's genuinely scary.
We think they're done. Yay.
Okay, this should be a lot better. Let's take a breath.
Everybody, exhale. The weird noises are done.
Now, please realize that now they're over, there's been no harm to you, no harm to us, and no harm to the house. When the fireworks were going off, the place felt antsy, it felt anxious. It immediately occurred to us all that that could be misconstrued by the entities as gunfire, cannon fire, as if they're coming for them. And then as soon as the fireworks stopped, there was activity. That's it.
Movement in the hall, yeah. Me and Anna are gonna step out. You can please feel free to stay here with Grant by the bed.
Now try to be as unthreatening when you move towards something as possible. Explain what you're doing.
Happen to come out here.
What is going on in there?
Saw you.
Look.
Say hi.
No. That's the ball. That's it. It literally just shut off. Did you see that?
Yep.
That's it. See all the colors? Can you do that again for us? Oh, look at this. That's it. Very nice.
I have a bad feeling that right now they're viewing what we've done as a trap.
Okay. This is not a trap.
We have nothing to trap you with.
We don't want to either.
No, absolutely not.
If you're wondering why we're standing here watching, again, we made that space for you. You are welcome to go up and look at everything that Katie placed out for you. And we are standing here out of respect.
We weren't giving off the correct vibes in order to gain trust with anything. So, you know, we stepped back to try and give them space, but it ended up just sort of feeling like with the fireworks and us being annoyed that we had set a trap for them, and it just didn't end up going the way that we wanted it to.
So I'm wondering what our outro should be. Like, what, coming together tonight, what should we do?
A spirit box session might give us a little
I think the technique is a little bit closer to what the team here uses, so maybe it's a little bit easier or something that the spirits here are more used to. Exactly.
At the end of the night, I really wanted to see if we could communicate with these spirits on a different level. What we were doing was working, but not to the pace that I was kind of hoping or maybe think that they were expecting. So I had remembered talking to the team that investigates here frequently, and they use different techniques involving white noise. And I thought, let's try a spirit box session.
Hello, can anyone hear us?
If you could tell the world one thing, what would it be?
Will you ask that question again?
If you could tell the world one thing, what would it be?
I feel like they answered Anna's question the first time, but it was like a whisper tone, which was like impossible to decipher with all of the like, why. That's why I asked her to.
Oh, the K2.
Yeah.
And that one.
And that
Hello.
one.
Hi.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Come on in.
You come in.
So I'm under the impression that you do have something that you wanted to say to the world, but we weren't able to understand it the first time. Would you mind saying that again?
I thought I heard hey. Hi, Anna.
Hi.
Was it that faint little...
I had fun playing in this room. Was that you?
Fun?
I'd love to know your name.
Was that a child this time? I'd like to hear if that voice comes through again.
I heard Anna again.
I heard it too.
Yeah.
I could tell that they wanted us to keep trying. I could tell that there was something they wanted us to know and say, but we weren't able to figure it out tonight.
You know what? Okay, here we go. You guys mind if I turn it off?
Whatever, yeah.
I am not a fan of the spirit box. To me, it's a pareidolia fest. Pareidolia is our natural ability to discern order out of chaos. So we lay on our back, we look at clouds, and we see rabbits and dragons. There aren't really rabbits and dragons in the clouds. That's just our mind trying to make sense of it. We're hearing chaos, and our mind can only handle that for so long before it starts to find stuff in it.
I really want to learn more about you. I don't want to leave tonight without learning more about you.
Is that flipping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We're gonna play with some blocks, just like these blocks. They're super safe, they're not scary like that torturous machine that we just had out. Anna, if I'd invite you to come forward real quick, because I feel like you have a connection here. With the rune cast, I thought maybe Anna, who was having a lot of luck talking with whatever was going on in that room specifically, might be able to glean in a different way a little bit more about that character. Barkana, Ansus, and Lagus. So birth, listening to the word, and then creativity in the river again. So this stream of thought right here, again, sounds like with the birth, and then trying to find speech and listen and understand what's truly happening, and then being creative in the moment to do that. It kind of seems like we read what you did tonight. Unfortunately, I don't think this was the house. I think this was a you reading.
See, I was hoping it was, anyway.
So you came in with an idea, you focused and researched, and you're very creative in what's going on. Good job on your first investigation.
Thank you. Thanks for teaching me, all of you.
Oh, please.
Thank you for all of your wise words.
You've been investigating with us for years.
No, I really feel like you've already got it figured out. You just maybe don't have the miles under your belt, you know? So it's just, we're just telling you stuff that you would have figured out anyway. I really feel that way. I think you've got a natural knack for it. I think tonight went wonderfully. It didn't go the way I expected. Almost never does. But again, my concern was more of, is Anna doing what she should be doing? Is there any way I can help her? And I really think that she's just a natural. And for me, that was the big reward, just to see that she's naturally got this ability. And when I give her advice, she takes it. That to me was the best part.
I definitely feel like I learned something from Grant. He approaches things in such a calm and purposeful manner. Me, I tend to be very reactive, so it's always a good reminder for me to stop and say, okay, let's start from the ground up. What could this be? What am I experiencing? And then in the end, if it is something beyond the normal, I can claim that it's paranormal. We had a lot of really interesting evidence happen at the Oliver house. The spirits there seem to really interact with our technology, like the cat toys and the K2 meter and the ghost touch. Additionally, Carol also had a very empathetic moment in the kitchen downstairs where she really connected with the spirit there. Outside, we had some high strangeness happening that I'd be excited to explore again. And we also had a moment where we could connect with the spirits with all of the cacophony of fireworks happening outside, where we were able to calm them and hopefully get them to trust us a little bit more. All of the information from the Oliver house, we've decided to rate this investigation tonight a 3. Combined with our pre-rate score of a 5, gives us an average of a 4, an obstreperous level haunt. With everything that Grant has taught me, I really want to take forward with me the need for historical knowledge and the need to be empathetic to the spirits. I'm really excited to get back to Maine and start researching Pennhurst. I think having that information in our back pockets is going to give us all the tools we need to really connect with the people still there.